We are live. Live, I tell you. There we go. Hey, welcome back, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Concept Corner. We're on episode 8, I do believe. 8 or 9? No, 8. We're on 8. And here today with me is my co host, Lorenzo Sleestack from the Sleestack Variety Show. Um how's it going, dude?
Oh, doing well.
Yeah, I heard it was raining out there where you were. Well, you're saying
Yeah,
you were.
yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I would think being a lizard, maybe I wouldn't. That wouldn't give me any problems. But it's just I don't know, a little bit draining. But other than that, I'm doing fine.
Yeah, I mean, not. I
Doing
mean,
pretty well.
not every lizard can swim, so.
Yeah. Well, it's just I don't know. It's physically it takes a toll with. I'm getting to be a bit of an older lizard, and I'm developing arthritis. So, or I've had it for a while. But
Well, you could always
other than that, I'm
you could
doing
always
well,
find a
though.
you could always find a pair of flotation devices.
Yeah.
No, today. I'm sorry.
Well, wait a
I'm being
second.
dirty-minded.
Are you talking about when women get those implants?
All right.
Some of those look like they'd make.
Or you can get those arm
flotation
probes.
devices.
Get those inner tube for the arms or the.
Oh, okay. I was gonna ask, but
Like, hey, now.
well, yeah.
Get your mind out of the gutter, sir.
Well, I don't know. It's something interesting to me here. Our lizard ladies look a little different in the Land of the Lost. So
Yeah. I guess today we're gonna do a little bit more concepting, I guess, for character designs because I realized I made a new character and I didn't actually make a character sheet for her. Like the tool I am, I completely forgot to do that first or after the fact. I guess I guess you may want to say. But we'll also tackle a few other character designs if we can today. Mostly today, I think we're gonna tackle Katie Lightfoot and then another Muse. And the biggest thing is that as I said, as I was speaking to Lorenzo about it, was that generally most muses they're on Earth for more or less two reasons: either they're on a mission from the creator or the one above. I guess you may want to put it that way because it's an easier name. Because yeah, careful. Honestly, I don't care. I don't care to be struck by lightning at this point. Like I already have enough things going wrong today. This past couple of days, I don't really need to have a thunderbolt up the ass, up the butt. Sorry. Yeah.
yeah, I don't think that would be enjoyable. I don't know. Maybe some people might enjoy that, but I don't.
But
I don't think. I don't think.
You're walking down the street.
Many people would enjoy it.
You get shocked from here to Kingdom Come.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I heard that some people, that some people might consider being struck by lightning as a blessing because God chose them to have that sort of power being given to them.
Well,
I don't know.
I certainly don't need to be hit by lightning, so
yeah, I don't want to get too religious or controversial or anything. I
know
that's a very unique way of looking at it.
I know. I'm just making a joke. I mean, I'm still technically watching what I do, but but being fun about it, and then because I'm pretty sure God goes by many names at this point. So it's just pick one and go for it, And then, but as far as literature is concerned, I'm just gonna go with the creator or the one above all.
You got kind of a spiritual thing. Would that be the right term? Kind of a spiritual
divine thing going on with it. Yeah, because muses are. And let me get started on this one because we're talking and I'm doing nothing. Because muses are essentially the I guess you may want to say the physical representation of, I guess, a lot of the positive aspects of the universe. So hope, truth, hope, justice, and all that, all that good stuff.
I'm not sure if would those things be considered like platonic forms. I'm not too into my not really a philosopher myself. So
I'm not either, but I'm going to assume that the key aspects of the universe are can be contributed down to many factors. But so I guess the idea would be that where there's positive, there has to be negative for things. So I would imagine that the universe would have ways of going doing a positive and a negative. So where there's hate, there has to be love, and where there's love, there has to be hate. Where there's courage, there's coward. There's a cowardness. Where there's cowardness, there's courage.
That sounds more like kind of again. I'm not a philosophy student, but sounds kind of like a yin and yang kind of thing, where there's
more or less. So
or their need for balance in the force or something.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like that. We could pretty much equate it to the balance of the force. So there's your Star Wars reference for today. For all you Star Wars fans out there. And then
obviously you're not like just ripping it off from Star Wars. There's many. There's a lot of different.
There's a lot of different interpretations
that,
of how we see light and dark. Light and dark.
I mean that's just kind of that's a kind of a classic thing in storytelling and different belief systems around the world. I mean, it's not like George Lucas just made it up,
I know. Not all of it is made up.
Or because you got the same sorts of things in like a lot of comic book like Marvel or DC or.
See, now I have to watch what I'm doing because I need to stop doing the static pose when I do stuff like that. When I do character poses like this, because I don't need to sit there and keep using the same static pose every time I do something. It's like But so the idea is essentially muses are all the positive aspects of the universe, whereas I'm gonna call them deviants right now because I think devils is hardly appropriate for the idea, or at least.
So you're gonna have like good and bad aspects, is what?
Yeah. So basically, well. Is it double echo?
And it's basically kind of like so it sounds like they're a personification of these of these different characteristics or what have you.
Yeah. So,
interesting.
So the idea is that is like Helene would probably be I guess who should be more I guess people that would acknowledge her or follow her would be those that are always looking for the truth, scientists, cops, detectives, those type of people, those that are always looking for the truth. Even journalists, the independents and what have you, those that are truly looking for the truth. You know what I mean? Then,
ideally, that's what. So you're talking about somebody who's like. Yeah, like your detective would your detective character?
Yeah.
Been there? Yeah. So you got somebody who's a private detective and they're quite earnestly looking, they're trying to find
the truth and
there's some missing people involved.
Mm-hmm. So the idea, one of the things I want to establish in the world is the idea is that superheroes are common, and so are other things, other things on Earth. The thing is that you're always going to need someone to find a missing person because not every superhero is going to go look for a missing person. So you still need cops, you still need your private eyes, you still need your journalists, you still need someone that's going to go looking for the truth. So that's the idea of this of Sherry. Is Sherry is essentially she's a private eye. She's there looking for the truth or looking for people, still carrying out justice, but always looking for the truth.
Is she like a regular like mortal or
Yeah, she's a regular mortal. Yeah, but usually muses when they attach to a human, essentially because that mortal has been an exceptional person in many ways,
So, but is the muse in the story is it good then?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
So the muses are all the good aspects of the universe. So,
Okay. I know you
and
said
the
that before,
well, I'm gonna use deviants at this point, and the deviants are essentially all the bad stuff in the universe: cowardice,
I
hate,
see.
fear, lust. Essentially, covering some of the seven deadly sins and what have you, and then without actually covering the seven deadly sins, because like
Yeah,
there's more than one type of negative aspect of everything.
yeah,
So
yeah. I see what you're saying. You're
yeah,
telling kind of a more of a universal story that can appeal to people,
mhm.
and it sounds like regardless of whatever belief system they might hold.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
maybe
a,
somebody could even be secular, and they might read it, and it's like, oh yeah,
yeah,
I can understand. This person's definitely the villain, and this person's definitely
yeah.
a
Because
hero.
the idea is that every person, every muse is essentially an important part of the system. So
Yeah.
for every aspect, there is a muse that represents that part of the system. And for every negative aspect, there is a deviant that represents that part of the system. So it's a
Wow.
system that works and has been at work for God knows how long.
Yeah. This is interesting. So in judging by what I saw of the past comic and what I'm seeing of the current one, because you were showing that off last Thursday,
Yeah, last
8
Wednesday.
p.m. Eastern, 7 Texas time. And what it looked like was you weren't beating people over the head with a message.
Yeah.
But you were just presenting these things the way that the storytelling, has typically worked as far as like say comics and entertainment until things got kind of wacky and heavy handed in recent years.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I guess in many aspects, people who've been looking for representation and stuff like that.
Oops, sorry.
Uh, ooh, what was that?
Sorry, I was just when it was going to share a link to YouTube, but go ahead.
Oh,
Share
okay.
your YouTube link to
Yeah,
Twitter and
and then no, because I heard a double echo, so I'm guessing I'm
yeah, that was the YouTube channel.
okay. And then so basically I guess what I was trying to do here was to try and do it better because I know people have been looking for there's represent when people throw around the word representation, a lot of people tend to cringe, you know, because they're looking for this they're looking for this bad thing to happen because people are uh, so all of these characters are different in their own ways, and so I'm trying to make something that's fresh without sitting to go and hammer people over the head with it. And
Yeah, you actually do have diverse characters.
mm-hmm.
You're not like just like drawing up some character and like, oh, this guy's left-handed, and that's going to be his sole attribute. That's going to be he's not going to have any character, beyond that.
No,
That would be silly. But
that would
that
be
does sometimes happen. Unfortunately, it's
yeah.
sometimes people
Unfortunately,
get caught up.
it's just. I think most of the time, what leads to bad writing is insecurity on the part of the writer sometimes. And so the writer is like, oh well, I need my character to be XYZ in this XYZ field, and you don't need to do that. Let me go ahead and save this character.
Yeah, I think it's
Luckily, I'm in the
yeah, I think
ah,
yeah, it's all good to like say I'm green. That's nice to have like I like having a green character,
mm-hmm,
in a comic book, but that doesn't mean it represents me and
mm-hmm.
my greenness. It could be like I get kind of frustrated sometimes with humans, but I'm not sure that Godzilla's choice of leveling Tokyo is the best way of taking care of the situation.
Yeah,
But
no,
he happens to be green. On the
yeah,
other hand, I wouldn't want somebody to say, no, you can't have Godzilla, because you can't make these movies anymore because it's offensive to green people.
yeah. Well, like the thing,
It just
like
happens to be grain. Is how I look at it. Is
yeah, because like Katie here is a Native American, but I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I know everything about Native Americans. And likewise, the one a lot of stereotypes is that if you're from XYZ, you automatically have to follow all those trades, and I think it's unfair to people in general. You can be from Korea, and your family's all from Korea, better yet, and you were born in Plymouth, Michigan. Like you know, I don't know if
yeah,
that's an
I
actual
know
place, but
people who are Korean, but they were adopted by
hey, I know a
by families of other ethnic heritage, and so they don't necessarily grow up learning like Korean culture. They might learn some other culture.
yeah, no, I know a friend who has a friend that her her family adopted a white girl. I mean, like blonde hair, blonde hair, blue eye. The literal stereotype for most blonde people. But she speaks Korean. No, Chinese. I'm sorry, Chinese. She speaks Chinese, like up, down, back and forth, left and right. She knows
Yeah,
Chinese culture. She knows this. She knows that. I'm like, you
as a
know,
first language, right?
yeah, that's a first language.
Yeah. So yeah, there are videos of like of white guys going in and like talking in this white guy. He's speaking um one of the Chinese languages, or I think they're considered different languages, even not
Chinese
just
Mandarin.
dialects, but like Mandarin or Cantonese, and he's speaking it fluently. And like what he does is he goes around with his video camera, and I don't
Yeah, just
know,
shocking people. And
if it's real or if it's staged or what, because here he is going into a business with a video camera, and people think that and the Chinese people think that he can't understand
hey, Jeff
whichever
Potts.
language they're speaking, and then he just speaks to them in what's supposedly like fluent Chinese, and just completely blows the people away
Their
with
minds are like
yeah.
mind
Like,
blown.
I think this guy might actually speak more than one uh, of the Chinese languages. Like he might speak
Well,
Mandarin and Cantonese.
yeah, because I know there's
And they're
Mandarin and
quite
Cantonese.
different. I mean, they're I think mutually unintelligible languages, but he's
Yeah,
like
but
he'll switch dialects or languages and just as well.
because I've seen people speak. I seen people speak German actually. Like I saw a black. Like I know there was I was going through my college, and there's this guy. He was learning. It was a long time ago. There's this dude who was learning German because he wanted to get a job somewhere in Germany, some kind of tech job, and so he was
Yeah.
learning
Well,
the German language.
yeah. When somebody is a baby, I've heard that the reason babies make all those different sounds is that they can make any sound in any language, or
Mm.
well, I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe when one gets older, like I don't know, some of those th sounds in English I couldn't really pronounce when I was a little kid. There's the there's like the th sound at the, and and then, and even like certain English speaking countries, people might have a hard time with that. Like,
Yeah.
got an Irish friend from County Mayo, and he said it says "tink" instead of "think."
You know
So
what? I forgot throw it out that I was having this stream because
yeah, yeah. We
I
need to
was
share
doing
out the YouTube link.
yeah I was doing such a impromptu. The reason I'm doing it way early today because I was actually gonna do it at 5.
Yeah.
The reason I did it way early today was because I had a flat tire.
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah.
and I need to go with my father to go check it out later today. But right now he's off doing something, and I need to go get him.
Oh, Jeff Potts is in the chat.
Yep. Oh, I said hi to him quite a bit.
Oh yeah. Hey Jeff. So he's German, drinks beer, but will
Oh,
not wear lederhosen.
Lederhosen.
Yeah, I've never worn lederhosen in my life.
I've never
But we do
been.
have a town nearby that's um it's in we've got this place called Gaylord in northern Michigan that and they call themselves the Alpen Village. They do sell lederhosen, but it's really expensive, I think. Or maybe it's just expensive for something that one isn't really necessarily going to wear like every day.
Yeah.
Because
I
it's
just
because I think it's more of like kind of you used on festive occasions or something
okay.
nowadays, especially here in America.
Okay. Well, when this is over, remind me to like really advertise this because
Yeah, I'm gonna
I
try
do it a lot.
to. I'll try to share out the
Yeah.
YouTube
Thanks.
link, but
Yeah. So like I said, in the case of Katie, Katie is like I said, she's Native American, but she's not the I guess the typical stereotype you often see, and some people will probably be pissed at me. It's like, why isn't she wearing X thing, or doing X thing, or talking about X thing? Well, one of the main things because I don't know, and quite frankly, I don't think it's necessary to for them to all have whatever stereotype that is that comes along with being Native American. You know.
well, I think there was a problem with Chicote where um, he
Yeah,
was
but
just going around like constantly like offering all this spiritual advice, and none of the native people I know are really like that because
mhm.
it's not it's
Uh,
like if I'm interested in something and I ask a question, of somebody who's we got the Anishinaabe people, which I think Anishinaabe might actually mean people, but that's we got the
well, it
Odawa
depends.
or
It also
Ottawa and
it also
Ojibwa
depends. Yeah, yeah, because it
or
also depends on
Chippewa
the
around here, and so
yeah, because it also depends on the Native American culture that you're trying to emulate. Not
yeah.
all of them are super spiritual in their manners. A lot of them are kind of warlike and
Well, there's the thing is though a lot of these religions weren't. I don't know. I mean, these were there used to be native culture was like kind of heavily discouraged, and so and
mhm.
so it was kind of. I mean, for a long time, both in the U.S. and Canada, something similar happened. I think maybe in other countries around, with other native peoples too. And so I don't know. In my own personal experience, if I'm interested in something, I can ask a friend, and and they might explain something to me. But it's not like people going around knocking on my door trying to convert me to. It's a different way of looking at things, I think.
Mhm.
And there's all these different cultures. I believe hundreds of them in North America alone.
Yeah, I mean, because I noticed in a lot of material that shows up, or a lot of characters that show up in movies and Hollywood stuff and what have you. A lot of the characters are just like, well, hey, these are my people, and they're like, I don't think every Native American is like that because it just it feels weird. I guess
Is like what?
it feels weird to see, because every time there's a Native American on the screen and it's uh a lot of times they're talking about their people, their culture,
Oh yeah, that's what
to a
Chakotay
weird
did on
extent.
Star Trek, and that's not something that I.
It's to a weird extent.
It's like I don't. It was kind of strange because he was almost like evangelizing or whatever.
Yeah. So
When it came to like he was like trying to spread the word of his belief system, like in a very.
yeah, that's what got me weird with Voyager is that it was a lot of um it's like I guess it feels kind of like it was Yeah, no offense to those, but you know the door to door, God, I forgot what they're called. Not the Normans. Jehovah's Witness.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was kind of like that. Like
It was.
that's what I was saying. Is like it's that's yeah. That's what I was saying. Is like it's not like a native
It's like
person's going to knock on your door to try to convert you to their belief system. I've never heard of that happening. You know, and I want to be very, very careful not to
yeah. I'm
stereotype
not.
because you know, and to, even when I try to say about any sort of because it kind of I try to be very careful nowadays what I say about like different native cultures because I'd rather let people from who belong to those cultures speak for themselves.
Okay.
You know, like
Yeah.
I would have, you know, I've got a cousin and who's enrolled in the Seminole tribe in Florida.
Right.
Don't know. There might be a different name besides Seminole, but I'm not in contact with her, but in her culture and her belief system is like, you know, and I don't know, I don't even, you know, she could be Christian or she could be practicing some traditional belief system or some combination. I don't know. And it's chances are it could be a very different culture than what's around here in the Great Lakes region where we got the Anishinaabe culture. Where I live. Right. A lot of the place names around here. And I think in some of the surrounding states, you've even got Ottawa, Canada, you've got, you know, these different place names that are from the local native people. But that doesn't mean that someone growing up outside the reservation is necessarily going to know much about these different cultures.
Yeah. Yeah. For Lightfoot is one of those characters that didn't grow up on the reservation.
Yeah, I think
she grew up what is essentially this fictional Texas town, and has been here forever. So she would be one of those characters like I have no idea what they're talking about. You know, because I do plan for her to like at one point actually visit the reservation, and it's going to be this huge fish out of water. You know. Yeah. Story where she's, you know, she has no effing clue, you know, and then so it's one of the ideas I have in my head, you know, when I get there, but and I need to move my phone because every time I put it near the mic, it starts giving me that weird static. And so when designing character, I'm going with the idea how's this character going to affect the world? What does she mean to the main character or to other characters? You know, what's her story? What's her backstory? What she, you know, what does she like? What does she do? What, you know, what hobbies would she have? Or, you know, you got to come up with stuff that works for the character. You just can't sit here and go, oh well, this character is XYZ and be done with it, you know, because you got to develop a character. So you just can't sit there and just, you know, this character is this or this character is that, and have no real explanation, no real story other than this is their one trait and their only trait, and this is how they're gonna roll for the rest.
So that became a problem with Chakotay for a while. Like this is a character that, I mean, they could have focused more, you know, instead of having him say my people, and then not talking about what tribe he came from until like say the second season, and then never talking about it ever again.
Yeah, I think he only brings it up once.
They could have focused more on like this whole thing with, and they did focus to a certain extent that he had been part of this group called the Maquis, these rebels who had split away from the Federation over the Federation of Planets. They had split from it over a treaty with the Cardassians. I try not to say the celebrity name. I think they're the Kardashians. God, I get those two confused nowadays.
Yeah.
I would never would have when it originally aired. But so, I mean, it had this really rich
I'm,
plot to, and Chakotay had a pretty deep character, but that they could have focused, or I mean, he had the basis of what could have been a really deep character. It's just that the actor who played Chakotay felt in the later seasons like they weren't really doing enough with his character. I mean, he was a second in charge of a starship,
but
and they
it
just
usually it usually just got relegated to Janeway being Janeway and being psychotic Janeway.
well, I remember more focused on the Doctor than any of the human characters.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, and then the Seven of Nine, the
Seven, yeah, it
Borg,
was usually 7 and 9 or the Doctor. Because I remember that
Yeah.
they did like this like this one big episode where they where the Doctor was trying to have his digital family. I guess you may want to put it that way.
Oh
And
yeah, that was an interesting concept, but it was only one episode, right?
yeah, it was only lasted one episode, and we never see the family again. We never see what becomes of it at the far end. But
Yeah.
because I guess one of the biggest things was that you also get a glimpse of what's her name, the half Klingon girl.
Oh yeah, and she had a very interesting backstory as well. It went into like her not having her being very uncomfortable with her Klingon ancestry, because in her associating it maybe with negative things like having a bad temper, which humans can have as well. Gosh,
Yeah, I know. I mean,
and she didn't like.
just thought of having a bad temper. Sheesh.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is that she so it had dealt with so there were episodes dealing with that and having her deal with the Klingon side of her heritage. I thought those were fascinating, as well as the ones with Tuvok, where they went into really deep into. I thought they went pretty deep into Vulcan philosophy in some of those episodes, where they were like they went into like some of the meditation techniques that Vulcans use because they're contrary to with how they appear,
Right.
they appear like they don't have emotions, but they actually have such strong emotions that they have to keep them under check, or else they would be extremely violent,
Mm-hmm.
or just mentally
But
unstable. They could, um, and I thought that was interesting. But what I heard is that I'm not sure if this is true, but it would make sense. Is I've heard that the actors playing humans were told to downplay their performance,
oh,
and then the aliens and the non-humans would kind of upplay their performance, and it was to make the aliens seem more realistic.
okay.
But if that's the case, it could have resulted in a lot of the human characters not coming across as all that relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a kind of hard time relating to the human characters to begin with,
I
but
mean, and
but
because Janeway often seems really psychotic. It's like when she's doing stuff like
it seemed like for the longest time she didn't. When she spoke, it didn't feel like she spoke with much authority, and then it seemed like two episodes, not too far from each other. She tried blowing. She was going to blow up the ship, which Picard had. That's what Picard would do if it got under. If some aliens took over the ship. But I think the writers had it happen maybe once too often or something
mhm.
on Voyager.
Yeah.
I
I
think what
mean,
it did is I think it did show her as being a very serious, like a very stern type character after that. But and being a leader. But I don't know. I think they use that too many times.
and it just, I mean, there's a difference between keeping federation, a powerful ship out of an enemy hand that might potentially wipe out somebody else. The others kind of do it more on a you know, on a daily basis kind of thing. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, we
yeah.
got to build.
Is that what you're talking about, or you're talking about the situation with that caretaker species that, or there were? It seemed like there were cases where she could have sent people back. She could have sent the ship back, but she decided not to.
Yeah, like there were tons of from what I remember, there were tons of ways that they could have escaped the quadrant, right?
Yeah, I think it was the Delta Quadrant.
Yeah.
Was it the Deep Space Nine that was near the Alpha Quadrant?
Yeah.
Or which quadrant?
Because I
Or was
just
it the
know
Gamma Quadrant?
I just remember that the ship got blown from.
It was like it was a character. Yeah, and it's looking for its mate or whatever, but it ended up doing that. So what I'm I don't know. It just seemed like I thought Tom Paris was actually for the human characters. I thought he was quite interesting because
Paris came a long way from being the rogue a-hole he started off as.
Yeah. There because so that was the one human character that I thought had the real character development when it came to Voyager. I think that was like I think he was. Yeah, I thought so. And even though I'm not like an outlaw or whatever he started out.
Yeah.
Yes, he wasn't exactly an outlaw, but he was kind of a. Well, was he like a part of the Maquis? Is that
he was part of the Maquis.
Okay.
He was part of the Maquis.
Yeah, and he had kind of a. Yeah, he did have a really bad attitude to start out with, and then he ended up. He ended up having a lot of like he ended up being like a really fun character too. Like he had a lot of. It's turned out that he had like this big interest in Earth history back during like our time. You know, like which even though they were way into the future, like so he was interested in things like cars, and he was interested in like maybe kind of like Flash Gordon type.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the fact that he knew
I thought that was a lot of fun.
The fact that he knew how to start an Earth-based car from several centuries way before in our history. Because I think they had him start a car from the 1950s.
I think he did start. He did start a car on there, I think, or maybe a motorcycle. I can't.
I'm trying to remember. I think
a car. Yeah, or
I think
a truck.
It was a car or a truck.
Some sort of vehicle he started. Yeah, I think that was a cool character too. Yeah, so I wish all of the human characters had that sort of character development, but
yeah, and that's what I'm starting for here was my comic stuff and what have you, is to develop characters so that they're not just one dimension of something or one or another, and then so that's the thing here is that I'm trying not to be those checklist people, but I'm also at the same time make new characters, have new ideas and what have you, and and see how it goes, and so like I said, not every like characters are gonna get developed, and I'll sit here and I'll put in little commentary jokes on my pages because I do it. Because he knows I don't know if anybody knows that I put a little commentary like for Katie that like the skirt, it does nothing. I would that's me having a joke, but because I really haven't decided things on because I wanted to try and see if I can develop characters as I go. If I have to sit here and plot out their development even more, I'll go ahead and do that. And debating if I should, the idea was debating if I should make this shorter and then give her like tube stockings. because the idea is that this fictional Texas town is kind of a little more upper in the Texas area, so and that's an area where it does actually get colder, and we do get snow in that area, that tip
That's cool.
area.
So you're also writing about stuff not just things that are completely fictional, but you got kind of a basis
Hmm.
in how things are like around where you live.
Yeah,
That's always good.
yeah.
Oh,
Because like
is this a character sheet or
it's a
is
character
this a
sheet.
new character you're drawing?
It is a character sheet for Katie.
Okay.
So, but I'm debating if I should make the skirt shorter because the idea is that I'm kind of having this '80s design look to all the characters. So I'm gonna try a little bit hard. I need to look up a little bit more stuff for that. I'm also thinking some kind of necklace to go with her.
Okay. Keep on talking. I'm just going to share out the YouTube link, and I made sure it's a YouTube link, not the StreamYard link.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Yeah, I came close to making that mistake, but I watched carefully. They're like, nope, that's wrong thing I have copied.
And then, yeah, I mean, most of these shows are gonna start small. So and then on top of that, this was a little more too. This is a little impromptu. So I'm not sure how people are taking this. Like, why is he at this time of the day? Because I need to go do other stuff in the afternoon, in the evening.
Well, that's the thing is there's other people streaming right now, and if you stream, but if you stream later on, you're probably likely to have even more people who like even more like say like people from like North America streaming at the same time. So
Yeah,
if you waited till later on in the day,
yeah,
I mean you already there's going to be people or different parts of the world streaming, but if you stream like at prime time, you might just be there's just so many people streaming simultaneously. I've noticed that with the Slee Stackians. Thursday, 7 Texas time, 8 Eastern.
hmm,
Yeah, it's like there'll be often be several people streaming. So a lot of people, I might get like half or more of my viewers after the show streams, because they could be off watching something else.
right.
So you might even be better off streaming earlier because when there's less competition as far as getting people in getting people in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, I'm not expecting everybody to jump in. Like, oh, hey, take a streaming. Yeah, when in doubt, just put the other, just
Yeah, well, the thing is that it also helps to maintain either you're maintaining a schedule and that or of like you're streaming was it every Wednesday.
yeah, I'm
And
doing it
so
every once.
over time your channel's like to get more and more viewers. It's just hard when you're first starting out. Like I've seen that with Rex. He's got a real excellent. He's showing actual. He's got like actual. He's got like comic books that he sells to a comic book museum,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the sort of stuff he shows up. Not everything's super rare, but he shows off a lot of very unique
Interesting stuff.
items.
Yeah,
And he started off, maybe there weren't that many people in the chat, but over time, there's gotten to be more and more.
yeah. Well, I'm not expecting it to be like overnight sensation, like, but yeah. So so most people should see Katie more often, as like as I get the story, because the idea is she's going to be one of the more like longer
Darn it, I misspelled Detective Agency. I must have had my spell check on, or maybe that was just me. I don't know.
Probably just you. I'm messing with you, man.
Very well could be. So let's see.
Now, sometimes sometimes it's like, oh, I think I'm dyslexic. Dyslexic.
Yeah, I
Because I
definitely
mess
am.
up stuff.
Yeah, I'm
Because sometimes
diagnosed
I'll
with
mess up
dyslexia.
hard, on something. Like, yeah, I totally misspelled that screwball.
Yeah, so let's see. I'm gonna try this again, and this should. My friend Daniel Tech is designing a character sheet for a character in his comic. I don't. His Muse Detective Agency
Muse
comic book.
Detective Agency.
Check it out. Okay.
Yeah,
So
check it
is
out.
that what the name of the comic is? Muse
Muse
Detective
Detective
Agency.
Agency. Yes.
Okay, I'll put that in
Because I can't think of anything else for
quotes.
it.
Yeah, let's see. If I here we go, and they'll try to, and they'll share that out to some different places. But it's on Twitter right now. I'm gonna try to get some people from different. Let's see, pin the tweet. So that should hopefully get people's attention too. And then, oh, I don't want to. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I'll just
No, you're good.
copy link to tweet. But yeah, you can go ahead and keep talking. I just might be
Oh,
quiet for a minute or.
yeah. No, you're good, man. It's just I'm trying to think of what to say because but like I said, she's a detective. She's she's been friends with Sherry for quite a long time. So part of the reason why she gives uh, some leeway to Sherry is because they've been friends forever. Uh, that's how sometimes that's how Sherry will get a case, you know, because of Katie here.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So there are characters so they've been friends, for quite a long time. And then yeah, so that's why she's the only one greeting Sherry. They're like, "Hey, how you doing?" Versus the cops are like, "Oh no, it's this group, it's this person again who's gonna." Hey, Cross.
Oh, hey, Rick.
Hey, Rick. And then so yeah, so she's part of the she's part of the reason why Sherry gets cases that are not sometimes that are not from regular people. So she'll get cases from the police department mainly because of Katie.
So, does Katie work for the police department, or what's the deal?
Yeah, she's an officer and she's a detective
Okay, and
in
so
this fictional police department, which I need to make a name for.
so
Yeah, go ahead.
so the ones that the police detective and the main protagonist is a private eye.
Yes. Yeah, kind of like Sherlock Holmes was he's a legit detective, private eye, detective, but he's more of a private eye than working for Scotland Yard or Sherry's pretty much in that same mode. She works for the police department. She does, she's a detective, but she doesn't work for the police department. Uh,
Oh, I see. Let's see.
but she does get cases every now and then from Katie.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just trying to clarify things for the audience, unless somebody would, might end up confused or whatever. Because it's kind of similar. It's just one works for the. Well, I don't know. There's similarities and differences, I guess, between police detective and a private eye.
Right. I'm also trying to have this kind of 80s aesthetic to all the designs. Mainly because I know the 80s a little bit more than I do the 90s and
Really?
Well, actually, I take that back. I know the 90s more than the 80s, but I like the 80s better than the 90s.
I see.
That's what I meant to say. So
I think
work that backwards the other way.
Styles.
Because I was a child in the 80s. That was I wasn't in my teens until high school, until the 90s. So obviously, but
yeah,
like let me rephrase that. Yeah, because I like some of like the 80s aesthetic and some of the 90s, but I think kind of have that kind of rock stuff going on, I guess.
Oh, what do you mean? I'm sorry.
Like a rock aesthetic in some places.
Oh yeah, well, it's interesting because somebody was talking about like grunge and how Nirvana is held up as being like somebody was saying that some people are like Gen Xers are holding Nirvana up to be kind of like the Beatles of their generation, which I never really thought of them like as the Beatles per se. And I think maybe it was kind of like it seemed like that was like one of the last like the grunge bands. It seemed like on the rock station around here, it seems like they would. That was like one. It seemed like after around the grunge era, they started focusing more on classic rock. Maybe it's just the one particular radio station up here, but it seemed like.
Yeah.
So it seemed like so I'd hear like Dire Straits, Money for Nothing, like day after day, and I don't know if they're still playing that, and and that was I'm on my MTV and stuff like that, and yet, and of course they played Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, and stuff, but it seemed like kind of like they stopped playing as much new rock after a period of time. It doesn't mean that they never play a new rock band. It's just. It seemed like bands were like a lot of like things were changing as far as the radio, and a lot of bands are on indie labels. And Nirvana was like they started out on Sub Pop, and then I think their second, was it Smells Like Teen Spirit or whatever the name of the album itself was. It seemed like that was actually on a big label from what I recall.
Yeah, a lot of people like, what was it? I was like, why don't you know anything about Nirvana? Oh, because I don't really like the band. And then I'll hear gasps. Gasps.
Are you talking about Nirvana?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
I didn't really like Nirvana as a teen. It was like, I don't know.
I mainly know about. I used to have the album Bleach, which was their very first album off the indie label Sub Pop. We had that at the college radio station. That was the one that we had, and then the other one though they were playing, like Smells Like Teen Spirit. I think that was the album. They played that a lot on the mainstream rock stations. So I mean, even though they were kind of so they were still considered alternative, but they weren't like an independent band anymore. And so I don't know if like I started playing like the same song they played on the commercial radio station, then it would be like, the college radio station was trying not to be in competition with the commercial stations.
Okay.
Because there's really no sense in that,
Well,
There's no sense in being in competition with a station that has a lot that you can act
well,
like. And
apparently,
actually, you could actually, for the longest time, you couldn't. It was really hard to even find the college radio station on one's dial because we didn't have a very powerful signal at first. So
yeah.
why compete against the station that you can like hear in several counties?
Uh, well, I just got a text. I do actually need to now. I have to jump. 'Cause apparently, my dad's back earlier than expecting. So now I have.
Well, you did
But what
an
I'm
hour.
gonna do,
Basically, you went for almost an hour, which
yeah,
isn't bad. So
yeah. So it's not bad.
some some say 2 hours is the ideal.
Yeah, yeah. So what I'll do is I'll probably I'll when I get back and everything is fine, I'll just stream for another hour when I get back. So if you want to come back, and or you're
Yeah,
available,
I hope
and if
I'll be able
anybody's
to.
available or hearing me, and anybody's available, you can come onto the show. Just remember, I can only hold up to 5 people by my plus myself for
Oh
an hour.
yeah, that's true because you don't have the professional version of StreamYard or whatever
Yeah,
the.
whatever the.
Yeah, because there's like I think there might be 3 different types of StreamYard, and you have the
Okay.
first type.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and come back later tonight. I'm hoping before 8 at the very least. So 6, 7, hopefully.
Cool, and
And
hopefully people will be sharing out the link because I asked people if they could share it out because it really does help if people share things out on Twitter or Facebook or any social media service.
hmm yeah,
That's where I get a lot of viewers for that's where we get a lot of viewers for the Sleestackian show. Thursdays, 7 Central, 8 Eastern.
yeah. So I should be back. I guess 6, 7 my time, Central Time, Texas time, or at least make the attempt to be.
So that'd be around 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
In Lorenzo's time.
All right, guys. So I will be back. Hopefully Lorenzo will still be my co-host for tonight.
I hope I can. I hope I can make it.
Yeah. If not, it'll just be like a solo stream for that night. But so thank you all for coming. Thank you all for taking the time to listen to me ramble about my story. And then and I should be having this comic out as soon as possible. I was just doing character designs for today. So I will see you guys later tonight. And y'all have a good day. And y'all take it easy. You can also find me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon at the Tech Corner. You could also find me on Picardo at picardo.tv/tech. Usually those are Tuesdays and Fridays between 4 and 8 p.m. And then on Lorenzo's channel tomorrow from 7, 8 Central.
7 Central, 8 Eastern.
Yeah.
I just put that in the chat. Thursday, 8 Eastern, 7 Texas time.
Yeah, 7 Texas time. And I will see you. And I will see you guys later tonight.
Take care, everybody.
Take care.
See you later.
Later.